All right, let's get into the black hats or the black cats that's being shown. Examples of this would be Melania or Gavin Newsom, and he's also wearing a black jacket with the right to bear arms, the bear on the arm, and this is going into that arm aged dawn for that light being shown, for that Son of Man starting to spark up. And I told you about that 24-hour time cycle. And yeah, so the eclipse we've been tracking, and now we got the dark planets being shown in a way as these things are being given power for the new heaven and earth, and or these times of change when the earth goes through into the winter time, and that winter, that 1 year, and that time of the John, the sign of his coming before the Jesus, the Jesus is put up on the cross with a board that he's carrying with a border, because the Bible is an allegory and you're being taught these things are literal and they're happening in a different way. So this time of peace and safety has been, and the man of peace and safety is before you. So that time person of the year has already made those TikToks in the mind, and now he's coming for that Nobel Peace Prize as that hurricane season comes for that bell, for that ding in the ears, as your dark side of the moon is ramping up, and those little white balls you see in the known as radars are part of the dark side of the moon and part of the orbs in one way, shape, or form that are coming and landing. And as the mothership, the Mother Earth comes and sends quakes upon the earth through men, the lampstands, but the light works through us and it does what's needed to cleanse this earth, and all these things that we've covered in the past. But as these people are lighting up now through the dark candlestick, this is where the wick kid, the birth of the child, comes and starts sparking these and lighting them up and giving them power, giving them light for the new heaven and earth and all these things, okay? So this is your times when the Antichrist are going to be sparked up, and there's going to be change upon the earth, and these people are going to come into the healthy times. That healthy times is that time of hell for these people, because they let their temple be destructed, and now we're going into the time of the rebuilding of the temple, because you're coming out of the peak of this time frame in one frame, but that's a spiritual aspect, because some of us have already gotten that light and we're looking back, looking down at everybody in one aspect, while they're up on their high spot looking down at us. So this is where the little flip-flop and things change, because your doctors don't know shit, but there are people who've been studying these things that don't have degrees or whatever that do know things. So this is, either way, y'all, we are going into massive change in time the next 20 years as the time of Pluto and the time of Hades, and as the truth and the grace is put upon y'all, that cross fitness, y'all are nailed to the cross. You're gonna have to get your high tops ready that Trump sold you, to get you through that land of Oz, to make sure you can jump higher and run faster over those mountains and valleys and highways, okay? So this foot of the bear, California, Arizona, that ocean front property in Arizona, or the ocean front property in Arizona, with tidal waves and whatever else they got planned for over there. But this foot of the bear is tied to more than likely Southern California in one way, and also the foot of the bear is tied to the little Cuba in Florida, and how they got the gators and all that shit ready down there. That the gay tears is also lining up for the Key West for the hurricane season, possibly to get those keys started to take us into a new time machine frame. Okay, so this is kind of where they load that bitch up, and then you got the Key West event coming, and the Everglades comes and takes out that tree of life put there. So we'll see how these little punishments roll out. Okay. So point of it is the black cats are these new solar systems setting up in a way, and And as we're being shown these time frames, and if you've been following, you should understand more, but this collapse from in the 23, well, from the 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, these types of time frames, because they tie into the alphabet and the and sign, or the DNA sign on the backside, which is the 27th, which takes you into the 29 for the final wrap up on the 9/11 anniversaries or whatever, which takes you into the 2030 and all those other time frames that we've gotten into before. But, so as these lights are getting sparked up, this is the time of the crossover and the going into the new age and the tribulation, great tribulation for the church, depending where you're at, depending where you are. All these things will be taking place, and it's going to unfold as it's unwrapped, and then the box is shaken, and then you open the box, and all these kinds of things that go along with our world. So this is, and then when the baby's born, you got to shake the baby or hit it on the back, of those types of things, get it start breathing. Inhale, exhale, and this is where you have your earthquakes or earquakes coming with their gas, for that race, for that great. Okay, for the Tony the Tiger, and the Tiger's in the dojo with the dragon right now, folks. All right, so hopefully you've got the warrior and the scholar inside of you while you're being taken into the doge, and that F-U is coming for you with that big Ukraine kick, and the Miyagi, as your serpents are all taken out, the serpent seed, right, all the stuff that's coming for you, as the atom, and the atom for the nucleic acid that's shaking up the temple is going to come and neuter you. Neuter. The red. You read it. They told you back. They told you Super Size Me. They told you Jenny McCarthy, Jim Carrey, those types of things. And then what has happened since then? Look around. What has happened, like, on a major scale since, like, Super Size Me? And they worked it in with the buffets and the all-you-can-eats in the late 90s and 80s and all these things that got us eating or whatever. The king-size Snickers or candy bars or whatever you like. All right, so they used to be 99 cents. You used to get 3 small ones for $1. That's when the gas was 99 cents. Fill it for $10. Yeah, well, those days are gone, but they may be returning in a little flip-flop fashion. The black cats are getting sparked up. The eclipse is here. Eclipse has been here. Now the new Mars colonization, that kind of thing is all kind of taking place. All these things are passing through men as it's coming to the earth, and we've seen all the planets align in the sky back when, and then we saw them align in the sky again recently. So this is like a time clock, and that like 5-year time clock is passing through, boom, 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 onto here. What we've already said, you're passing through these strings. Everything we're all like, it's all light. We're living like a whole bunch of strings in a way. Okay, that's what the string theory is teaching on another level. But this is where you can see things that are, if you do certain types of breathing, or listen to certain types of music, or do certain types of substances or whatever, or have done certain types of substances, these can also help you be able to tap into what has been opened into that program in the mind. But you can do certain things where you see this world, you can see the layers the world is based in, and you can see how this projection that we live in, we can see the projection, but how all these things come together. But this is where you can walk through space and whatever else, where it's very possible the thing that grabbed me in the neck or whatever, I mean, they could have some government operation where they can walk through whatever and they whatever to you, and but it's all where this is coming from, that original projection source to take us into those time frames or whatever is going on. But I mean, the mothership that I saw that took up a third of the sky, went behind the mountains, all this shit or whatever, was there for 10 minutes. Me and the wife had 8 witnesses. They could have built that in Antarctica or wherever, where they have an agreement where nobody, the whole world agrees to whatever, but they could be doing things down there. It could have a different weather that we're not told of. Admiral Byrd and those type of older operations told us there's a land down there and whatever. I'm going to get into another video about these things, about the other lands and new heaven and earth and what on a little different level. I'm going to do another video on deeper stuff, but we're told these kinds of things, so they could actually be doing this type of stuff there and bringing it here, and that also ties into Hitler and his missions down there and his interest in the time travel and Tesla. And you got Tesla now, and then Trump's uncle stole the Tesla papers, and you got Trump now with Tesla and all these things, with the 88 time machine being Trump and the Baron Trump book way back then. So there can be some weird shit going on with altered reality and time and whatever, but this doesn't make it bad or good. It's just telling you how this fucking world is, because this, whatever's outside of the sun, behind the sun, projecting this thing, it's just like a movie theater or whatever, and we're in some type of terrarium where we are real, but we're not real, and this little alien thing, that's electrical being that's inside of us, that I've gotten into another video, is actually the alien creature, and it's coming in from outside of there, and there's some weird like double or trilateral dimensional whatever kind of thing going on here, and we can see it through us, and how this light within us can only shine so much, and it's contained, and how this earth is contained. The sun can only shine so bright and white. So we're all these little sons of God. We're all God while we're not God. We're all the living God while we're not the living God. We're bodies and members of this light, and we are all the light while we're not the light. And so either way, folks, the eclipse has been, I've been tracking it. Now we're starting to see the dark hats and where these eclipse and these dark lights are going to spark up. And so just get the popcorn ready, I guess, which is that maze, that labyrinth that you're being taken into for the old Pan's Labyrinth.